Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing all of the news that came out in 2022 regarding Avatar Legends. If you don't know, Avatar Legends is the official title for Avatar Last Airbender as a franchise. This year alone, we've gotten like a ton of news. So I wanted to review them all in one like concise place so that if you don't know all of the news, if you just want one huge kind of summary of all of the upcoming projects that have been announced so far, then this is going to be the video for you. Now, I'm not going to be going over like the comic books or any of the published novels that they're creating about Avatar, just because there's a lot of news regarding that in upcoming comics, upcoming books. Maybe I'll make a separate video for all of that. But for right now, I'm just going to be talking about like the upcoming series and the upcoming films. So the first thing coming up in that regard is going to be the live action Netflix adaptation. Now, pretty much the entire cast has been announced. Basically, at this point, we're at like, if a character hasn't been announced in the cast, then they probably have been cut from the show. Like, that's kind of how I'm interpreting it. And they were like filming earlier this year, I think. So I think they're going to be trying to like film all of the seasons as consecutively as possible so that there isn't like a huge difference in a lot of the ages, because I think that that's probably going to be something that inevitably happens when you're creating a series with a cast of younger actors. But the other major thing that we know about the Avatar Netflix adaptation is that they're going to make a lot of changes to the plot. So this actually was announced more in 2021, that they were going to be introducing new characters, cutting some old characters, having characters that were originally in season 2 and 3 in season 1, and just sort of in general rearranging things, having differences in the episodes, that kind of thing. In 2022, we found out that Kurek was going to be playing a much bigger role than he ever played in the original series. I think this is to like relate Ko the Face Stealer to Kurek more in the show, which I think, you know, that could be good, right? There's also been reports that they're planning on changing Aang's backstory. There are some reports that because of the age difference to the cast, they might end up not doing like an Aang and Katara storyline, and they might just skip it, or they might push for Zutara, which is like yuck if that's true. But that's all just a rumor. There's still like a lot that we don't know. I think basically until we see a trailer, like there's going to be so much stuff that we just don't know about this series, about what direction they're going in. Seems like that there were some creative differences between Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino, who are the original co-creators who worked with Netflix originally and then departed the series. But honestly, I feel like more so the reason for that was because Paramount probably offered Mike and Brian something, and then they just decided to go to Paramount to make original content that they would rather be making. Now, for the release date, according to some reports, the first season is expected to drop sometime during 2023. If this is true, then I imagine we'll probably be seeing a trailer actually like maybe pretty soon here, like maybe in the next couple months. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the new animated series after The Legend of Korra. So this is news that came up more recently. Basically, Avatar Studios is going to be producing a sequel series to The Legend of Korra. This is going to be following the Earth Avatar after Korra. Now, some of the reports did say it would take like 60 to 100 years after The Legend of Korra. That's actually just a speculation based on the fact that it's going to be the next Avatar. I mean, Korra could literally die like in 2 years after the series ended, and then there could be another Avatar like 10 or 15 years later, right? Still, I think that it is probably likely that it'll be like 60 to 100 years into the future. So this obviously puts a lot of question into what kind of technologies there's going to be in this show, you know, how they're going to handle some of the changes that happened in The Legend of Korra, like the spirit world and the mortal world being connected once again, or the fact that Korra lost all of her past lives. So all of these things I think are very ripe for like a new series. And I'm actually really, this is probably the one thing that like I'm most excited to see, because let's be real, like an animated series is what got me into this show. And I also just want to say that this probably was heavily fueled by a lot of the fan fiction community. You know, I'm talking about like The Legend of Genji. You know, the fact that they saw the marketability of that, you know, I think that it really helped sell this as something that Paramount would be willing to invest in. And it seems like Mike and Brian are very happy with Paramount. The Paramount is a really good studio that's allowing them to have a lot of creative freedom. So I think that that's amazing, and that I think that we're in a good situation more where Brian and Mike are working on Avatar, like new Avatar stuff, and like the live action stuff is being handled by a different studio. I think that if it's going to be successful, then this is probably the best way it's going to be successful, because, you know, we don't want Mike and Brian working on something that they don't feel creatively like they're enjoying. I am really curious about what kind of follow-up book they're gonna start calling these, because they already went through all the elements, right? And they did spirits, and then they did change, and then balance. So I feel like what else? Chakras? I don't know. Chi? Like they could do a bunch, I guess. There's more to that. Energy. I think energy is probably one. Book one, energy. I could see that happening. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about were the 3 new animated films. So this was something that was more rumored, and then it kind of built up until like they kind of announced more of what their plans are going to be in the future. So a lot of this stuff is rumor, to be fair, but pretty much like confirmed. Like, so there's going to be a whole new Avatar film franchise. So all of these films are going to be released in theater, I believe. So the first one is going to be coming out on October 10th of 2025, which is the same year that the animated series is set to come out for the New Earth Avatar. The first film is going to be a sequel to Avatar: Last Airbender. It's going to be following the adult version of Aang, Katara, Sokka, Toph, and Zuko. This will sort of fill in the gap between Avatar: Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. Then the 2 other films are reportedly going to be a Legend of Korra film, follow-up to that series, and a Zuko solo film. We don't really know anything else about those films. We don't have a release date for those, but I imagine they're probably going to come out maybe a year or 2 years after the initial film in 2025. So I'm excited for these 3 films. I think that an adult Aang film is like what we've been waiting for years and years. Like that's what people wanted since Avatar: Last Airbender ended, pretty much. People have been wanting to see them kind of grow up and then become adults. And we saw a little bit of that in The Legend of Korra in season 1, mostly. But I think that to have like it all focused on them, you know, to really kind of see what happened with Republic City, to see them maybe even founding Republic City or dealing with the first iteration of the city, like, you know, all of those things are going to be really good. It's going to be I think it's going to be a really good movie, guys. And the fact that this is all coming out in theaters also, like, it makes me hopeful for the films. Now, this isn't like super unique. Like a lot of theaters do kind of like special showings for animated films a lot of the time, but I think that this could be really, really popular because Avatar: Last Airbender is very extremely popular. Like I talked about it earlier this year in a video, how it's one of the most popular animated franchises of all time, even to this day, even to 2022. So I definitely think that all of this is really good news. So if you're an Avatar fan, like you pretty much got everything you want. You got Avatar live action, you got a new series after Korra, you got adult Aang, and you got these 2 new films, like they're just kind of a bonus. And then not to mention all the comics, all the other books that they do. Like I'm very, very excited as an Avatar fan, but I do think that in 2022, we got so much news. Like this is totally the time to be hopping onto Avatar: Last Airbender. If you haven't seen it in a while, or if you've never seen it, I don't know, then this is the time. Go show your friends, go tell them all about Avatar. Like, and I really do believe once Avatar, the Netflix adaptation comes out, you know, people are really going to get on board. They're going to start like, I could see Avatar blowing up. I mean, look at how popular Wednesday was. I really think that this is going to blow up, guys. And then having the live action come first is going to like lead people straight to the new series and the new film. So, because people are going to watch the original and then they're going to watch Korra and then they're going to want to watch the new stuff. So they got it on lockdown, I think, Avatar. They really thought it out. Guys, let me know what you're excited for. Let me know if I missed anything. If I missed any details, it's probably likely that I did. I wanted to kind of give a simple overview of all of this stuff. Go ahead and leave a like, leave a subscription, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys all in my next video.